Baby, bye-bye Biden? Chris Merrill, Joe Huizinga. It is the Chris and Joe Show, KTAR News. Democrats are panicking right now over President Joe Biden's debate performance. And so some are starting to discuss what was once unspeakable, and that is replacing him on the ballot. In fact, headline Politico was a major headline this morning, I think. Panicked Dems start looking for alternative to Biden. Joe, is this overreaction?
No, not at all. I mean, David Axelrod, one of the former top advisors to President Obama, was talking with CNN last night, and his line was that there was a sense of shock with how bad Biden did last night, including that moment where he just kind of froze there for 6 seconds. And that's the moment that everybody's talking about today. But there were dozens of others where you and I commented how looking at him on the screen, he seemed like he didn't know where he was, didn't know what words meant, didn't know what the heck he was going to say. His mouth was open, and he just seemed lost.
New York Post wrote, he didn't look old, he looked ancient, he looked empty. And that's probably the best description.
Yep.
He just looked devoid of life. I mean, I genuinely felt like I wanted to go visit him and bring him a Werther's Original, but I did not want to vote for him. That was very difficult. And listen, I'm somebody who is weighing very heavily who I want to vote for in this election. And if you're losing somebody like me, how many other people are you losing? I have a friend of mine that is a Democratic kind of advisor, and he was sending me messages last night and this morning, actually. Says, I was thinking immediately after it was all over last night that there were a variety of reasons not to panic, but the circular firing squad has begun. It's broken out, and the panic is unfortunately real. You should have seen the faces of Claire McCaskill and Elle Sharpton a couple of hours ago. I said back to him, and here's something I want you to think about too. Although you already say it's time to panic. Here's another reason to panic. I said this is going to do damage all the way down the ballot. If you have people that are saying, listen, I don't want to vote for Trump. Trump voters are going out for Trump, right?
Yes.
Just let's work from that premise. Trump voters are voting for Trump. They're going to the polls. They're going to vote, which means that what Joe Biden has to do is activate his base. He's got to get the base fired up in order to counter Trump's base.
For him to win.
And then for him to win, right.
Okay.
And then he needs to pull some people from the middle who might be, kind of on the fence right now.
Sure.
So right now, he did nothing to fire up his base.
Correct.
Right? If you can't get your base fired up, how many Democrats are not going to be voting simply because the guy at the top of the ticket doesn't make them say, I got to make sure I get to the polls today? Which means it hurts other Democrats. It hurts other propositions. Abortion is on the ballot in Arizona. You've got a senatorial race where Gallego needs you to show up. And right now, the guy that is supposed to be the marquee of your matchup is not bringing people to the pay-per-view, which means they're definitely not going to see the undercards.
Does it, though? Or
yes!
Or do people...
I just said it, yes!
I would argue
Go on.
that perhaps those people do still show up and vote down ballot, but they now vote RFK.
No.
They don't vote for the president, that they do show up because they do care about abortion in Arizona.
No.
And whatever the resolution with immigration and all of that. They do vote on those things. They do vote for Lake or Gallego.
Let me psychoanalyze you and tell you why you're wrong.
Okay.
You are looking at this as a responsible citizen.
Oh, how dare I?
Who does their civic duty. You don't miss elections.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Which means you pay attention, and you're going to go and you're going to vote. And you're going to vote on whoever your legislative representative, and you're going to vote on. But how many people don't do that? And those are the people that are the margins that these guys need to capture in a general election.
But are those people going to go, the people you're talking about?
Yes. Far more than you think.
Right.
What they call the sometimes voters.
Is a sometimes voter going to sit there and go, I see down here abortion. I'll do something with that. And
no, they're not. You grew up Catholic school, right?
Yes.
Did you ever see more people going to services on Christmas and Easter?
All the time.
How about that? Now, let's suppose that we don't have Easter. Are people still going because, I like to go one Sunday in the spring? No, they're coming for Easter, and if there is no Easter, they're not coming.
But I can mail in my vote. I can do it whenever the heck I want to.
You can mail in your prayers, but you still go to services.
You can?
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
You can mail in your prayers?
I like that one, yeah.
Oh, man, I wish
Think of all the Sundays that you lost when you could have just put it on. You could have FedExed that one up north.
I mailed it in. I don't have to go today.
So right now you've got Democrats that are thinking, oh my gosh, we basically just canceled Easter and Christmas and nobody's coming to our services. That's the worry. Their base is going. You're right about that. The civic-minded people are going. That's you. You're right about that. I'll be voting. You're right.
You could tell the Democrats were worried last night when you saw two different camps. I get a lot of the political emails from both the Trump team and the Biden team.
Yeah.
And I got probably 30 from Camp Biden.
Panic.
That was, that was from Biden's official camp.
I know.
That was... Oh, Trump lied, Trump lied, Trump lied. It was all the things that you would expect from last night of, Joe Biden answered the question, stuck to the points. Here's where he stands on the policy.
Of course.
And then...
How many did you get from Trump?
Not a lot.
That's why Biden is panicking.
Right. But so what you also saw from Democratic strategists who don't send out those emails was they were frantically writing up articles. They were going unnamed as sources.
Why were they frantic?
They were showing up and they were saying, hey,
everything's fine. Nothing to see here.
Maybe it's time for Gavin Newsom. Maybe it's time for Michelle Obama. Maybe it's time for Pete Buttigieg. Maybe it's time for Bernie. Maybe it's time for all these other people.
Nobody said it's time for Bernie.
Feel the burn. So you had a whole group of Biden's camp saying Trump lied, he did all these things wrong, Joe Biden stuck to the issues. But then you had other Democrats, David Axelrod and others, coming out and saying, whoa, we might need to get somebody else on the ticket here. So two totally different camps.
Yeah, the people that are part of the Camp Biden and those that are actually trying to evaluate it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got Democrats, I think, that are being realistic, and then you've got Democrats like, and to his credit, Newsom was like, listen, I'm not going to let one debate ruin this. Kamala Harris, I'm not going to debate. But the fact that they're sending you 30 emails the next day.
Kamala said he started slow.
The fact that you got 30 emails is kind of like, oh, hey, I can't go out with you tonight, sweetheart. I'm not feeling very well. And then she finds you dancing with somebody else at the bar. That's really, wait, we need to talk. We need to talk. Wait, listen, I'm just going to text you. I'm just going to call you. Right? That doesn't happen if you're actually homesick. You don't have to send out those texts and phone calls.
Would never do that to the safety girl.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.